All right. Before I start explaining or start writing, you need to understand something about JavaScript. Now, last class, I told us something. I said JavaScript is basically two things. It's categorized under two ways of programming. The first is what? Synchronous. Remember, what's the second one? Asynchronous. Thank you very much. You have synchronous and then you have asynchronous. Synchronous is basically following in a natural order, or natural flow. Or say that, okay, after this one executes, I execute. Or everything executes at once. That's synchronous. So what is by synchronous? So synchronous is saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. See that there's a sequence. The sequence doesn't change. It just moves. You get it now? But now, synchronous is now basically a programming it's not really JavaScript. It's a programming term that basically depicts how do I put this? Trying to look for the right way. So, for instance, you're saying that okay, I want certain things to happen before I do something. Let me give it a much more better scenario. So, for instance, if I come into this class and let's say from the beginning of the class, I'm giving you a rule that if I don't have multiple people in the class, I'm not going to start at all. Right? But if I have what we have at the start, that's asynchronous. Now, not don't I just put some of the identity without that way. Asynchronous is saying that okay, certain thing has to happen before certain function occur. Do you get it now? For instance, your set timeout, that's an asynchronous function. You say that okay, for certain functions to occur, what has to happen? A particular time must be what elapsed, or a particular time must actually must occur. Whatever it must occur in a certain amount of time. So before a function occurs, 5 seconds must pass. Or before a function removes, 5 seconds must pass, or 10 seconds must pass. That's asynchronous. It's not really following the natural order of allowing that function of occur automatically. Something happened before the function occurs. That's what asynchronous is. Does everybody understand it now? Do you understand synchronous and asynchronous? Declare. Yes, that's what asynchronous is. Asynchronous is saying that you're trying to create a function that is dependent from another function, or that is dependent on another outcome or scenario. You get it now? So before I can come to class, I need to take my class. Do you get it now? That is a function dependent on something. But synchronous is saying that I don't actually care. I can come to class and take my class. Do you get it now? That's like it's just work together. So taking your bag and coming to class, they work together. That's synchronous. But asynchronous is saying that okay, something has happened. So it doesn't really follow in natural order. So that's why you can have in asynchronous you can have 10 come before 1. You know, in synchronous is 1 to 10. But in asynchronous, 10 can come before 1. Meaning that you won't 10 to before 1 before. That's basically what asynchronous. Does everybody get it? Is it clear? Now, why do we use asynchronous? We use asynchronous because in your JavaScript is not just plain. Or let's say the functionality in software engineering is not just plain. It's not just garbage in, garbage out. Okay. It's garbage in, garbage out. It's not black and white. Okay, let me that. It's not black and white. It's not saying that one is black, one is white. Some might be red, some might be indigo, some might be rainbow. You get it now? That is what it is saying. Now, what do I mean by this? For instance, a user wants to log in. What are the processes that are caused while logging in? The first process is that the user inputs their password. Second process is that the password goes there is a logic that goes to the database to check if that password is actually there, or if that password has already been created by the user. Now, if the password is created, what happens? It logs you in. If the password is not there, it tells you what? Incorrect password. Now, 5 processes. All of these processes depend on each other. Meaning that You cannot run them at once. One has to wait for one. Do you get it? Now, how does it work? You have your function. So you have a function here. In that function, you create an asynchronous function that makes the user wait for you to check the database first to see if there are details are there. And then if the details are there, it becomes a success message. The details are not there, it becomes a failure message. That's what I'm from that you have success and failure. Do you get it? If the function is well executed, right? If it is resolved, you have resolved and rejected. If it is resolved, what happens? It prints out the success message or gives you a success function. If it is what? If it rejects or if it fails, usually what? A failure, what's it? A failure. So that's basically what your asynchronous does. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Do you get it now? Now, that is why asynchronous is very asynchronous is the core aspect of software engineering. For me, it's a core, one of the core aspects of software engineering, rather. Okay, it's the core aspect because it allows you to create dynamic applications and not static. Allows you to create dynamic, for instance, create a dynamic application. Instagram is a dynamic application. All of these things allow you to have multiple functions. How is it that whenever you log in on, I don't want to always use login. Whenever you try to like try to look for the I can just use authentication. Authentication is login. All of those things, it waits for certain things to occur before it happens. Now that is why authentication is asynchronous programming is very important. Now, in asynchronous programming, we have promises. I have promises in our last class, but because we have just 6 more days to go, I'm going to be explaining async analysis so that you understand async analysis is a much more simpler way of explaining what asynchronous programming. So I'll explain this in case of time. I'll go back to promises. But for now, let us check what it is. So sync/await provides a more readable and manageable way to work with asynchronous code with Java. It's easier to do async and await. So it acts as a syntactic sugar on top of promises. So it just makes promises more interesting to you. Because promises, trust me from experience, promises can be a very I don't want to use those, but it can be a very hard concept to grasp at the beginning. So that's what I'm using async and await to explain it. So now, understanding async and await is crucial for writing cleaner and more maintainable asynchronous JavaScript code, and will be a stepping stone to combining it with promises and other asynchronous patterns. Okay, let us do that. First of all, you need to understand what async and await is. What does async and await mean? Now, you need to understand 2 keywords in async and await. Async and await is very easy. Very easy. If you understand these 2 keywords, the first is what async, which stands for asynchronous. Then the second keyword was await, which waits for the word for whatever it is you are doing to get executed before running the function. You get it? So for instance, you have the database. You want to fetch user details from the database. You give that function what async to make the function what an asynchronous function. And then use await to wait for the data to be fetched for printing the word. Success and failure message. Plain story. Declare. Are you sure? Now, the async keyword is used to define an asynchronous function. And the await keyword is used to pause the execution. Wait for that particular execution until the promise is resolved or rejected. Resolved means accepted, rejected means failure. That's all. Now, that was the async keyword transform the regular. Okay, let us do this. I think we'll explain that. Now, let me move on to this example. First of all, let me just explain this and then we can do something else. Now, what's the first thing? Function and async function. It is still the way you've been creating your function. What's the difference? Async is just added to function. Can I see it? So now, What is this thing saying? It is saying that what this is an asynchronous function. Until this thing resolves, until this thing returns an hello, what happens? Let us check it out. An asynchronous function that what returns a value. So you have the function, and then you will return hello async. Now, you know how what my async dot then. Okay, this is actually going to be a lot. But let me just give us a simpler explanation. This dot then is I'm going to explain dot then. That's so now you have a right, and I'm not saying that okay. I want this particular. I want to do something. Okay, let's use user application. You want the user to log in, right? You've created your asynchronous function. It's just put it in your head first. Correct question. When you have the user, you want the user to log in. You're not saying that whenever the user logs in, something has to happen. How does that thing happen? Two awaits, right? Good. But then before the await, also notice something there's something called dot then. The dot then is saying that okay, if this thing is true or false, then something has to happen. Just your English language. Do you get it now? Do you get it? English language. English language. If this user details exist, then log user name. If this user details does not exist, then print out this error. You get it now? That is what the dot then is all about. Now the dot then is actually much more deeper than that. But for now, just know that that is basically the simpler definition of dot then. It's actually a promising word. Now, that's exactly what you're saying. Now, you're saying that what? My asynchronous function dot then. So if this particular function is what? Print out what? This value, which is going to be what? Hello async. Do you get it? Not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. Then, the value is your return this return keyword actually is one returning value. That's the value. Yes, yes, it's the value of the value. That's why it's the return keyword. I think I've explained return before. I'm not. I explained return. Then if you are returning something, that means you are returning the value of your function. That is why it's saying that what. So then the value of function of value. That's why it's output Edwards.
Okay, so
As long as the what the function is going to be executed, whatever you are returning is the value of question.
but if we're not using
Good. Now, if I say console.log LORC, this console.log value is set as console.log LORC. Now, if I say console.log LORC, won't you see it in the console? Doing that was the value of that particular function. You get it?
but you're not saying
So, which one is it? So, you have special treatment. A reserved keyword. A lot of things are reserved keyword. Function is a reserved keyword. Let is a reserved keyword. Once is reserved, why is a reserved keyword? What does reserved keyword? That keywords that you don't just shoot anyhow. That you cannot use them as variable in alternative. Because once is what a reserved keyword. You get it now. So that's something I cannot use what. Now, I know that explaining the dot thing. Let us go to our. And let me show you what I'm saying about our. Now, the await keyword can only be used inside an asynchronous function. Now, it pauses the execution of the async function until the promise that follows await is resolved. This is even a simpler example. Now, looking at this, you have what? Function. And what's the function? Delay. That's the name of the function, right? Then it has a parameter of millisecond. Now, what's the function right here? The function is what? You are creating a set time out function. Just leave this result. Don't worry about it. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do here? You are creating a set time out of the function, isn't it? Now, you cannot create a particular asynchronous function that delays for what? 1,000 seconds. As you can see, I'm getting it for 1,000 seconds before it was returns no. Let us write. So you see what I'm trying to say. Because I'm looking at everywhere and what is this? Your head. Okay, don't worry. Don't worry, don't worry. I'll end the class very soon. Let me start from the simplest of them all. No, just a moment. Let me start from the simplest for now. Now, let us use set time out as an example. If you want to have, let's say, let A equals to 10, right? Let B equals to 20, right? Then we can have what? Let result of let C equals to what? 30. Now, if I do console.log, then if I have A, then if I duplicate it, and I say B and C, what are you going to have? 10, 20, 30, right? Why? Because this is synchronous. This is going top to bottom. I don't want to give you, now as you can see, what do you have? 10, 20, 30. Now, asynchronous function now allows you to what? Say, okay, I don't want to have 10, 20, 30. I want to have 10, 30, 20, 10, 30, 20. Meaning that what? 30 comes in what? 20. How am I going to do that? I can use asynchronous function. But for now, I will start from the simplest. Let me use what? Let me use set timeout. Now I can use set timeout to achieve this. And after I set timeout, I can wrap this to B in set timeout and delay it by what? 3 seconds. Meaning that it's not going to execute until after many seconds. 3. Now I can cut this and I can say set time out. Set time out. Then I'm going to create this as a function, right? And I'm going to put this here. Now, what have I just done? I've said, okay, console.log A, then let me write my time. So I'm going to do what? 3,000 milliseconds. Now, what have I just done here? I've said, okay, set time out, right? I've said console.log A, which is going to give me what? 10. Set time out is going to give me what? B, which is 20. Then C, 30. But this is not going to execute immediately. Do you know it execute after many seconds? 3. So if I control S it and I check it out here. So 10, 30, then 20. That is what asynchronous. Something has to happen before it happens. If that thing does not happen, it's never gonna. So let us try and remove the time here. Let's remove the time and let's see what's gonna happen. So if we remove the time, I'll come here. What exactly do we have? Now, automatically it is coming immediately, but what is happening? 10, 30, or 20, meaning that what? You are still having it asynchronously, but then it does not actually have a time. Yes, the set timeout is delaying it. Even if it's just a split second, it's still delaying it. Do you get it now? That's basically what your set timeout is doing. That's basically what your asynchronous function is saying. Basically. Do you understand set timeout? Now, can I proceed to the next one? Or your head is still on? That's come down now. Okay, please. So that is what set timeout is. Now looking at this piece, this is also similar. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't use promise because I've not actually explained some things in promises. Now, looking at this place, right, you have a function named what? Delay. Right? Now, the function is now returning a what? A set timeout. Do you get it? It's returning a set timeout now of what? Millisecond, which is this. Now, you're not saying what? Function, my async function, console.log starting. So, what's going to get printed out first? Starting. Right? Now, the next one, which is going to be this one, is not going to what? Delay for how many seconds? For 1,000 seconds. I'm going to come again. Let me just copy this and show you what I'm trying to say. So, good. First of all, what happens is that what you have async function. Let me remove async and let me remove admin. So you understand what I'm trying to say. So now you have a particular. Now let me use what's the name? Trying to see if I can use set timeout. Let me just use set timeout here. So set timeout of okay. Let me leave it as delay. Now let's create a function together. Let's say function. Let's call this function delay. Let's call this function delay, right? And let's say let's call it milliseconds. That's ms. Now let's give it the parameter of milliseconds rather. I'm going to create a set timeout here. And in this set timeout, what are we going to set? We're going to set the amount of. We're just going to worry about. Let's say we're going to worry about the time. Trying to see if that can actually work. Let's just set the time here. So we'll set the time for what? So let's say the time is going to be what? 3,000 seconds. Or let's say 1,000 milliseconds. Right? 1,000. Now, in this place, we're going to call it, we're going to say console.log loaded. Do you understand what I just did here? Good. 1 second. Good. So we're going to have what? Loaded. Let me move this. Now, we can now create a new function and now say what? Console.log start. Now, why are we creating this? We do not just want it to what? Load immediately. We want something to show starting first. Okay, this thing is what? Starting. Then after this thing, the delay is now what games get executed. It's not going to be loaded. Let me show you again. Can I have a function, right? That now says what my async function. Let me just use this their name. They are going to have what console.log. Console.log what starting. Now, first of all, it's going to show starting. Why? Because this is the first. That starting is now waiting for something to occur. And I mean, that what's it waiting for? 3 seconds, right? 3,000 milliseconds for this particular delay to get executed. Now we cannot go ahead and say delay, which is what the function that is here. Do you get it now? Now, after this particular delay, it's not going to show what loaded. That's all. Console.log what loaded. Do you get it? Now, this is basically what we can this is basically what this particular piece is saying. So I just simplified it. If we check it out, what is it saying? It created a promise right here with a set timeout. Then in this place, the amount of time was not initially specified. The amount of time was specified where? Here. But I specified my own here so that because you understand set timeout before, just to explain to you. Now, after 1,000 milliseconds, now it was 3,000, right? After 3,000 milliseconds, what happened? It's going to console.log what? After 1 second. Well, our own is going to console.log what? What's I'm going to show? It's going to show what? Loaded. After how many seconds? 3,000 seconds. Okay, 1,000. Yeah. After one second, that's going to show what? Loaded. Do you get it now? Now, because we just called it delay. Now, this is basically what now, in this place, we are this starting is just going to show. But now we can make it an async function that waits for this particular delay. So what's going to happen? After 1,000 seconds, this particular one is now going to what? Show starting and console.log after 1 second. Let us try it out. Let me bring this out here and try it out. So we're going to have we actually need it. We don't need it for 10. We don't need it. So I cannot go ahead and say my async function. Now let us start this out. Yes. Let us check it out. So now let us check it out. So now you had starting first, right? And then you waited for how many seconds? 1 second. Then you have uploaded. Do you get it? This is basically what asynchronous function is doing. Sorry, this one was interrupting the whole check. First of all, you are going to have what? Why is it loading like this? Yeah, usually. So, that's the moment. Let's try and load it. Good. So you're gonna have starting, then what? Loaded. No, starting first. It didn't actually wait. It was loading it. Starting, then what? Loaded. You get it now. That is what asynchronous function is all about. Asynchronous function is okay, something is waiting, but now let's not say I'm not using what async in this case. I want you to check if there is any what's the name? Okay, actually, it's not going to have an effect. It's just going to be it's not going to have an effect here because we used the trying to see if we can have something else. Okay, let's try and include it. Let's try and then let's see. Let's try. No, actually going. Okay, let's just leave it. We don't actually use this. Okay, so basically what asynchronous here is saying is what you are things for the work. So we're going to call it a day here. In our next class, I'm going to delve deeper into async and await. Then I'm not going to use the examples because the examples are actually looking a little bit complicated for me to explain to you now. I'm going to start with using simple examples. First of all, I'm going to fetch data from APIs. So we're going to actually going into APIs in our next class. We're going to fetch data from API. I'm going to use an open API from Google using normal data API or object-oriented API. So we're going to fetch data and we're going to use async and await to fetch data. Now, from there, I'm going to understand how you can use promises and how you can also fetch data from API. That's what we're going to do on Monday. Then on Wednesday, we're going to go into working on that application. I think finish it before Wednesday. I've given us enough time. Finish it before Wednesday. So by Wednesday, we're going to start using Firebase. We're going to use a lot of fetching data and all of those things. Then next week Monday, that will be next week Monday. Yes, we're still going to continue. We cannot finish that application in one day. We do it again on Friday. Then on Monday, which is the coming Monday, that will be 12 Monday. Yes, I'm going to work on building a simple weather application with an API. We are going to use Open Weather API. You can go ahead and read on Open Weather API. If you don't want to read on it, it's fine. It's not compulsory. It's just necessary. So go ahead and read up on Open Weather API. I'm going to explain to you how you can actually build with Open Weather API.